Hello again, it's another Model Railway news update, keeping you up to date on new stuff from some of the big model manufacturers. I'll be covering a range of manufacturers in this video, and there's models across a number of different scales. Coming up in this video, we've got some additional Roco releases. It's almost like every single one of these news reports I have to tell you about even more Roco stuff, and this is no exception. I've also got all the RRP prices from Bachmann's most recent winter announcement, so I've got all those coming up, plus there's some Peco items and something a bit special at the end. Before I get started, I'll say this is a totally unbiased news update. I don't have any affiliate links, and I'm not sponsored by any manufacturer or supplier to do this video. So remember to shop around for the best prices when you go to purchase. And with that in mind, let's get you updated on the latest updates in the model railway world. I'm going to get started with Roco, and they do have some models over a range of different scales, but we're going to start off with the most popular, which is of course HO scale. And we've got another SBB RE4/4 Type 2. This is in my favourite livery, the dark green colour of the SBB CFF. It's a very good model, this one. It's got a lot of detail and things like the directional lights. It's got cab and engine room interior lighting as well. Very detailed representation of the engine compartment on this, and a motor with a flywheel. It's got Plux 22 as well if you want to have DCC control. But for the analogue 12 volt DC version, it's around 310. It is quite an expensive model, but it is a really good one. The DCC with sound is around about 420, which is also the same price for the AC version if you have an AC setup. The next one is another Ludmiller. They're doing loads of these in different liveries at the moment. This is the kind of classic maroon and cream version from the Deutsche Reichsbahn. It's a BR132. This one is number 146-2 from Epoch 4. Lots of great features on this, a very large big diesel, but it is coming in at a very reasonable price of around about £150 for analog, and it's around £260 for DCC with sound. No EC version of that being released on this announcement. The next one we move to Slovenia. It's the Adria Transport Class 2016 diesel loco. Quite a beefy looking locomotive this one, and hailing from Epoch 6. The model has directional lights, motor with flywheel, and also it's got sound. It's a Plux 22 interface, but note this is only being released at the moment in AC digital. It's likely to come in DC and DCC soon. However, if you have an AC setup, you can get this diesel for around about £320. This is a very bright livery on this locomotive. It's a BR186 and it's in the locomotion branding number 444-6 from Epoch 6. It's a great model, this 186, and it's got directional lights, a motor with a flywheel, and it's also got sound as well with a Plux 22 interface. Of course the sound doesn't work on analog, but you can always upgrade later. It's coming in around about 240 for the DC version, and it's around 360 for the DCC with sound. And that's also the same price for AC with sound. And we're being offered this really beefy diesel. It's the BR118 from the Deutsche Reichsbahn in dark maroon with the cream. It's such an imposing beast of a locomotive, this one. And it comes in around about 210 for analog DC, or it's around 320 for the two digital versions with sound. Quite a lot of locomotive for the price there. Okay, we've got some coaches to have a look at. It's a 4-pack here of SNCF branded coaches from Epoch 3. You get a first class, 2 second class with different numbers, and a baggage car. Now all these models have been done before and they're actually quite old. Normally they come in DB livery, but they've just re-released them here in SNCF. And this pack has a price tag of around £110. Another coach here, this is just an alternative running number on this first class type AM coach. It's a great looking livery though from the Deutsche Reichsbahn Epoch 4, and it's coming in around about £70. From Epoch 2 we have this 3-pack of wagons. They're fairly basic open wagons, all very similar apart from one which has got a brakeman's cab. Again, these are not new models, they're just renumbering old models and packaging them together. This pack comes in around about £90. From Epoch 6 we have this pocket wagon. It's the T5 in the HOe livery. Again, I think this is just a renumbering of the wagon, but you do get this trailer on board. But anyway, this model is coming in around about £75. And here you go, it's the same wagon. This time it is in the Wascosa orange colour, and it's got these tank containers on it. It's also priced around £75. And in the triple pack we saw this wagon. Here it is again, different number on it though, hailing from the CSD. It's the Type VTD open wagon with a brakeman's cab from Epoch 4 this time. On its own, this is priced at around £32. Now we're moving into HOe scale, and we have a train pack to have a look at. It's this one here, the Austrian OBB train pack. So you get an RH2095 diesel locomotive, which has got a great wheel setup on it. You also get a driver inside the cab, which is great. It's a fantastic little model. And you get these 4 wagons. Now these are nothing new. In fact, the locomotive isn't either. These wagons, I've actually reviewed all of them on this channel before. But together this pack is being offered around about 350 in analog DC only. Now we've also got some TT scale from Roco. They made a big announcement recently and produced a whole bunch of TT stuff, and they're adding to that as well quite aggressively with some more models. And the first one is this, the Type BR185. This one in the rather dull blue colour of the press livery from Epoch 6. This one's number 061-5. It does have a lot of good features though, directional LED lights, a motor with a flywheel and Next 18 interface if you want to make it digital. And you get 4 pantographs on the roof just like the prototype. Looks really cool this model, but not the best livery. However, if it appeals to you, it comes in around about £150 for analog and around $270 for DCC with sound. Note that Roco are actually offering their TT models at around £100 less than the HO version, which is quite interesting. Other companies that are doing TT, most notably Hornby, don't really do that. Moving on though, we have another electric locomotive. This one is an RH372 in CSD livery, very bright there with really bright pantographs as well. This is hailing from Epoch 4 and it has the same kind of features as the previous model, and also it comes in around about £150 or $270 if you want the DCC with sound. Okay, we're moving on to Bachmann now, and they did have the announcement of the winter models that they're adding to the range, and now we've got some RRP prices which I can show you here. We're going to start off with the Thomas & Friends range. And of course I think the most popular one is going to be Duck. It's been released here with moving eyes. It is an analog version though, and it comes in with an RRP of $79.95. But do remember to shop around because some discounts are already available on these. We were also offered Daisy, the little rail car. Again, it's got moving eyes and it's analog DC as well. This comes in with an RRP of $99.95, which seems like a lot of money for this model, but there you go. We also had the Vent van with the Sodor Fruit and Vegetable Company on it. It's just a simple logo on the side of this green van, which has been released before. But if this appeals to you, then it's coming in at $24.95. This is a bit more kind of Thomas the Tank Engine because we got the SC Ruffy or Scruffy coal wagon with the face on it there. Looks pretty cool this model, and it comes in around about $19.95. And we were also offered Terence the Tractor. Now I don't think this actually moves at all, it doesn't have working tracks, but it is priced at $24.95, which I think is slightly on the high side for this one. Okay, let's have a look at Bachmann's 00 scale releases, and we're going to start off with the Class G2A steam locomotive. This one is number 49164 with the BR Late Black livery on it. So some of the features we're told here include sprung buffers, and it's got an adjustable tender drawbar, a 21-pin DCC, but it's only got a 3-pole motor, which I thought was quite surprising. I would have thought it would have been at least 5-pole, maybe with a flywheel as well. Not even sure if it has that. But it's been set at an RRP of $189.95 for the analog version, or you can get it with sound for $299.95. And it was being released in the earlier G2 version. This one is number 574 in the LNWR black colour. Same feature set on this model, it's just a livery option, and it's also priced at exactly the same. So the Class 1532/P1 steam locomotive has been released as well, this time with some new liveries. It's got a fitted speaker, firebox lighting, and it's Next 18 DCC, and it's got a coreless motor, so it seems really up to date. Some nice liveries on here and some kind of more plain liveries. This is just a selection of 3 of them, but the prices have been set at $174.95 each. Or if you want DCC with sound, it's $284.95. The Class 5600 tank engine, now this is returning to the range, and it seems to be a little lacking in features compared to more modern locomotives. So it's only got an 8-pin DCC and a 3-pole motor, but it does have sprung buffers. It's got some nice detail on it, and it comes in these 2 different liveries. Both of them are priced the same at $139.95 each. And we also had 2 liveries of the 4500 Prairie tank engine. It's the same feature set because these are, I think, older models which are just being re-released with some new livery variations, and these are coming in at $159.95 each. And you will notice that there's no DCC versions of these. And we also got offered 3 variations of the Class 8750 Pannier tank engine. Now I'm a little bit sceptical because Acura Scale are just about to do theirs. Seems a bit fishy that Bachmann would just churn out another 3 of these, but here you go. The feature set is quite limited. They have only 8-pin DCC, 3-pole motors and sprung buffers, but they are priced accordingly at $124.95 each. So Bachmann did a whole bunch of Mark I coaches in this release. This is just a sample of 4 of them. There's various livery options and various configurations, but they all have the same RRP, which is $67.95. I think they've done a great job on these 50-foot arc roof composite corridor coaches. There's different price points though depending on which livery you go for. This is the most complicated one, the LNWR claret and white colour, which I think is really eye-catching and very attractive. But it does come in at a high price of £109.95 each for one coach. There are a lot of extra parts added onto these coaches. They're highly detailed, but that is a high price just for one coach. You also get these in the more, let's say, duller colours of the M and GN brown or the LMS crimson lake. I don't particularly like these liveries. I think they're quite dull, especially compared to the previous one. However, they are a bit cheaper at $99.95. Well, £10 cheaper. We're also offered some wagons, but I think these are just re-releases with different numbers. The one plank low fit wagon in 2 different liveries, and you can get it weathered or pristine. And depending on which you go for, it's $24.95 for the pristine one or $26.95 for the weathered. And they also offered the same wagon, different livery with a container on board, again in the 2 different options. These are priced at $29.95 for the pristine or $31.95 for weathered. And we got some open wagons as well, so we'll start off with the 7-plank end door wagon in 2 different liveries. These are priced at $28.95. And we had 3 versions of the 7-plank fixed end wagon announced by Bachmann for this quarter. I think we've probably got far too many 7-plank wagons, but there's some new liveries on here, and if you fancy them, they're priced at $28.95. You can also get it with the coke rails in 2 different liveries, and these are priced at $29.95 each. And as well as the 7-plank, we also got 8-plank end door wagons. There's 2 different variations on this. They're quite good liveries. There's a lot of wording on there, so they're quite eye-catching, and they're priced at $28.95. And you also get the 8-plank fixed end wagons now, a really dull grey one and one a little bit more exciting with the green there. These are also priced at $28.95. Okay, we're moving on to 009 scale, and of course it's the curly roof van from the Festiniog Railway. This one is a line plum number 1. It looks a great little wagon, this one, and it's priced at $59.95, so it's quite expensive, but it does look really cool. And of course you get the brake third coach from the Festiniog Railway in 3 different liveries here. I think probably the middle one is my most favourite. They're all priced the same though at $59.95 each. And the Festiniog Railway is certainly getting a lot of attention at the moment. You get the so-called tin car saloon third class coach. So 2 different liveries and 2 sets of numbers on these. And they're all priced at $64.95 each. Okay, we'll move on to EFE Rail, which is a Bachmann brand, but we'll just say it's EFE at the moment. You get the Bully de booster number 20001 in the BR green, so this is matching up with 20002. Feature set here includes sprung buffers, it's got cab lighting, but that's only DCC, an X18 decoder socket, a coreless motor, some fitted speakers as well, even on DC, and directional lighting. It's got an RRP of $184.95 for the DC version, and there doesn't seem to be a DCC sound fitted version from the factory just yet. Now the Class 41 warships were also announced. These have again cab lighting under DCC only, but it does have the Next 18 DCC socket if you want to fit one. A coreless motor. It says it's speaker ready. I guess it's easy to fit a speaker into it, but it doesn't come from the factory with one. And it's got directional lights as well. 6 different variations here, and they're all priced the same at $174.95 each. The T3 steam locomotive is also featured, but as yet we don't have any model photos of this, so these are the diagrams that have come from Bachmann showing the different liveries. However, the prices have all been set at an RRP of $199.95 for these. And finally for EFE Rail, it's the crane in the Balfour BT livery, just a new livery on a previous model. This one comes in at an RRP of $89.95. So moving on to N scale, we've got Graham Farish with some new models. The first one is the LMS 10,000 or the 10,001 in 2 different variations of each locomotive. These have got Next 18 DCC sockets, and they come with a coreless motor and a fitted speaker as well, even under DC, directional lights and also cab lighting. They're priced at $184.95 each. We've also got the Mark I CCT parcels van, and there's 5 different variations on this. 2 of the Crimson Lake ones are just different numbers, and they're also releasing the very distinctive Tartan Arrow version, which is pretty cool. These are all priced at $32.95 each. They also released a whole bunch of Mark 1 Royal Mail vans in various different liveries. A lot of these look the same, but they're just number differences, but they're priced at $48.95 each. And there's a whole raft of Mark 2A coaches as well being released. I do like the ScotRail ones, but you can see that there's a whole bunch of different liveries available here, and they're all priced at $49.95 each. And we also got the Stanier 50-foot full brake coach in 2 different liveries here. These are priced at $47.95 each. And finally we have the NVQ van in the BR blue in a weathered finish. This one was priced at $34.95. So Peco made a surprise announcement for 009 scale. It's these, the mini diorama kits. So these have been produced in association with HOe, and I know that HOe make these little dioramas that you can plug together and make a little railway out of. They're fun little kits designed to get you into the hobby or be put together as part of perhaps a club or something like that. Each pack comes in with a kit to make the diorama. It's got a sticker sheet as well and an illustrated storybook, ideally suited for kids. They make great Christmas presents and something that you can add to and make a little railway out of. It also matches with Peco's 009 range of models as well as Bachmann's and others. There's going to be initially 2 different sets. The first one, MD1, is the Rainbow Garden, which looks very bright and cheerful. And its RRP is set at $29.95, so quite a cheap price, gets you started and you can build onto it. For example, with kit number 2, which is the Much Natter Station. A bit more to it than the Rainbow Garden, but it's priced at exactly the same at $29.95. Quite an interesting range of stuff there. I wonder how this is going to go. Hope they succeed and they'll bring out some more stuff as well. HOe's version of this, they have a massive range of different things that you can add, and it's all a bit of fun as well. It's not to be taken seriously. So something fun to end the video. I'm going to try and use some of these things on a regular basis. It's the odd stuff that people make, which is loosely train related. This one is from the London Christmas Company, and they're advertising this year for the 2024 Christmas season, the Great Western Railway Class 43. It's an HST, but it's a Christmas ornament. It's actually made out of 24 karat gold finish. There's actually some plating over supposedly solid brass, and it has some screen printing on it, including the GWR logo. It even comes in a luxury gift box. Quite an unusual thing this. For me, the jury's out as well. I'm not sure about it. And oh yeah, don't forget that the price is £59, although there are discounts available even on the manufacturer's website. It's a very bizarre thing, having been modelled this way and being a Christmas tree decoration. So personally, I think this is a bit naff, but what do you think? You might love this thing. Let me know in the comments below. It's certainly very unusual, and I'm not sure I'd get away with it hanging from our Christmas tree. Anyway, that's it for this edition of Model Railway News. There's been loads of stuff there, and I'm sure there's going to be more coming soon. So don't forget to subscribe to keep yourself up to date, and I'll speak to you on the next one.